The thing is, if you don't have a presence and you're looking for a job and someone else has the same qualifications and experience as you and they have a presence, the company's going to look at the background, the history of this person, and if it aligns with the company's direction and vision, they're 100% going to hire that person over you. Welcome back to The Reset. I am Sean Tucker, human performance scientist and authority architect. We are here in the living lab documenting the struggle, the science, and the shift for every high-performance founder and dad who is ready to bridge the gap between their ambition and their presence. Today, we're diving into the topic of people have changed how they're finding you and what you do for your business. If you work for a company even, this is really, really good to know because in short, you need to catch up. Because if you're not aware of these things that are happening, you're going to be left behind, made redundant, or literally have no business. So really, this is all just to help you master the man underneath the performance, because having the awareness of some of the things that I'll get into today, absolutely key in thriving in the marketplace that is busy, that is noisy. It's so important. And what I'm talking about today is actually, it's known as AEO. You may be familiar with SEO. And for those of you who don't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. AEO is artificial intelligence, so AI engine optimization. So people are turning away from Google. So Google used to be, or probably still is for the most part, but it's changing the way to find people or find the expert in whatever problem that you have in your life. Like if it's to lose weight, for example, or you need a plumber and you live in this area, people are turning to tools like ChatGPT so that they can get an understanding of who is the real expert in the area when it comes to solving this issue. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you have a service, if you have a product, if you have customers in your business, this is something your customers are already using. There are a few tips that you can follow, that you can use. And I think the first step is really just seeing what is the go-to, or what is the recommended thing or service or product within the industry that you work in. Because the fact is, if you're not seen as being valuable on the internet, it's quite hard to run a business. It's quite hard to even be valued in a company if you're not seen for what you're worth. So these things are not just applicable if you have a business, but they're 100% applicable if you're an entrepreneur, meaning you work in a company and you're looking to climb the ladder and be the very best version of yourself. You need to pay attention to these things, because the person who has all the qualifications and all the experience next to someone who has all of the qualifications, all of the experience, and a strong personal brand, and the first person doesn't have any social media presence, I can almost guarantee that the person with the social media presence and all the experience in comparison to the person who doesn't have the presence online will most likely get the job. This is because they're demonstrating what they do, and it's almost like a cross benefit. If they're hired in your business and they stand for the same kind of values, they're only going to uplift what you do in your business anyway. People are going to find your business through them. So really, it's a really great way to cross-pollinate. And this is the way that the digital space is heading, and it's already headed that way. I think Gary Vee was one of the first people to kind of call it out a long time ago, 10 plus years ago. Said this is going to be the way that business is done. And we didn't really pay attention to it, did we? Because here we are. I mean, myself, I'm 110 plus episodes into the Reset podcast, doing a daily podcast every single day. but you might not have a presence at all. And I know a lot of people, they're fearful of putting themselves on social media. They're fearful of making themselves digital or putting themselves in a digital space. I get it. I was too. But the thing is, if you don't have a presence and you're looking for a job and someone else has the same qualifications and experience as you and they have a presence, the company's going to look at the background, the history of this person, and if it aligns with the company's direction and vision, they're 100% going to hire that person over you. That's reality. It obviously does depend what company and what job you're applying for, because if you need to be someone who is like a secret agent, right? Yeah, having no social media presence is probably better. Being a ghost on the internet is probably better for that kind of role. But for most companies and most roles and most jobs, I would say having a personal brand to some degree is extremely important. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. That's the thing. You just got to be you. Be willing to show up, show yourself as you are. That's it. It's pretty simple. If you want to be all nicely fine and decorated, that's cool too, but it takes a long time to get that to that point, to be able to do it on a repeated basis. Because most people just don't have the time or the energy when they first start to do something as perfect as that. And they usually later, when they start actually bringing money in from their brand and investing in different companies and getting paid to do what, basically paid to be who they are, then it becomes easier to get employees and build team who can help you with this side of content production and being able to put yourself into more platforms and really building your audience and building yourself, building your brand. I mean, I hope the last 110 plus episodes I've actually showed you rather than told you what I'm doing. I mean, this for me is a project that's been probably sitting at the back of my mind for 6+ years, I reckon. 6+ years, I reckon, since, during COVID times, I was talking with a mate during one of the first lockdowns, sitting in the sauna. I reckon I should start a podcast. We should start a podcast. I think at that time it was going to be called the Sauna Sermon. Just thoughts and chats about life that happen in the sauna. A bit of philosophy, a bit of, just life discussion. But it didn't take off because I didn't even really have a daily access to the sauna. We did have a sauna at the time because it was my friend's sauna. But it was a little bit hard to set it up. And the reality is, the harder it is to make a decision, or the harder it is, or more complex it is to complete a task, the more likely you are to avoid it. And it's not to say that it won't happen at some point, because clearly I'm demonstrating now that it can happen, that I am doing it. And it does take a commitment. It does take consistency. And you don't have to be as consistent as I am. But you have to be willing to play the game for long enough to see where that consistency takes you. Because it's an interesting space, how these engines work, these artificial intelligence engines. They're basically crawling what you are putting out into the digital world. They are seeing the podcasts you're on. They're seeing the posts that you make. And most of it is just seeing what's written. I mean, I don't think we're at the stage yet where it's full on doing a visual scroll yet, but I don't think we're too far away. I know that there are a lot of AI tools out there that can do that, but it's quite an inefficient way to take in large amounts of data. because there's a lot more data to take in when it's visual as opposed to when it is text written or code written. Because it all is code anyway, but the code is a lot more in depth when it comes from a visual standpoint. And when it is literally just an image or a video, because there's a time aspect involved in that too. There's frame by frame. And I don't think we're at that point yet where it's able to scroll and really take in all that information. So definitely the writing, definitely the data on what is being seen and what I guess the algorithms are showing people and what is, capturing people's attention. All of these things are taken, case in point, and the engine or the system is learning about you. It's learning about what you do. It's learning about what you say. And it's ultimately creating a profile of you that is hidden, that's not fully disclosed. I mean, you can go to your agent now. I mean, your AI tool like ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever you use, Claude maybe even, and say, who is Sean Tucker? Or who is whatever your name is? Just type in that. Maybe type the suburb as well. Do it in incognito mode, in private browsing mode, because we don't want your cookies to reveal stuff that you already know, that it already knows about you. Do it from that place and see what it says. And then maybe the next step is ask it, who is the go-to person in the field that you work in? Who is the expert in the local vicinity that you live in? If your name doesn't pop up, it just means that there's more work to do. It means that you need to put yourself into those places where you are consistent about who it is you say you are, what it is you say you do, and the places that you're putting yourself out on. So get yourself on more platforms, get yourself on more podcasts. Don't hold back. If you're going in on this, go fully in on this. You might as well, because everything is being learned about you. Everything is being scraped. It's being, it could obviously be used against you, of course. But I guess that's just the responsibility that we have to be aware of when we are putting ourselves in an online space, I suppose. So this is just really just basic awareness stuff when it comes to AEO. SEO, you're in a bit more control of, I suppose. I think when it comes to AEO, you need to be a little bit more shotgun approach. You need a very wide spread of where you're putting yourself. When you're doing SEO, you want to kind of just filter everyone to one place. So you want to be the go-to website. Let's say you're a mechanic in Melbourne, in the CBD. Well, then you want to be the number one found place for that. So anyway, I hope this episode has been helpful. And if it has been helpful and valuable to you, just share it with one person. That is it for the reset today. So if you're ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the architect of your legacy, make sure you comment or reply wherever you see this podcast with the word reset, and I'll send you the 7-day guide. Remember, most people are waiting for their life to change. We architect the choice. Change your state. Choose how you show up. I am Sean Tucker, and I'll see you in the next one.